Yes, indeed, that wonderful music heralds the beginning of my Sunday sermon. And this week, I want to focus on the economic state of the nation. Because I regret that the news is bad. I fear we're facing the worst economic crisis since World War II. I've never been more anxious. We've got a crisis of low growth, the lowest decade in the last decade, and facing us ahead for over 60 years. We've got a crisis of low productivity. The public sector has seen no improvement. Indeed, they've seen a collapse of over 10% in productivity over the last 20 years. We've got a crisis of high inflation, the highest for over 30 years. We've got a risk of stagflation. And with these crises, we want a competent government to be able to respond appropriately. Now, we should be able to rely on Chancellor Sunak. He's worked in the city, he's worked in private equity, he's been successful, and he claims to be a conservative. In fact, unbelievably, hilariously, he claims to be in favour of cutting taxes. But what was his response? What's his response been to this economic crisis that faces us? Well, he's been raising taxes at least 15 times, including personal taxes. Not content with that, he's been raising company taxes. How does he think you'll get higher growth when we've got a low growth crisis? How do you get higher growth with higher taxes? He's been raising government spending. How's that going to control inflation? How does higher government spending improve productivity? And for the second time in just 2 years, he's creating amongst millions and millions of people a sense of, a culture of dependency, a subsidy culture from the government. The truth is that the Chancellor and the Prime Minister, they've done things that Jeremy Corbyn, in his wildest dreams, couldn't really believe he could have got away with. And that's why I call the Chancellor now, I've renamed him. Not only is he a con-socialist, but he's actually Rishi Corbyn. I mean, he's presiding over one of the most grotesque tax and spend chancellors ever. Boris's government is spending 55% more than Tony Blair's government just 15 to 20 years ago. So I need to sound the klaxon, the alert. Bells should be pealing all over the country during my Sunday sermon. It's the klaxon of socialism, I'm afraid. Yes, ring out the alarm bells, because millions and millions of people more are dependent on government subsidies. This is literally what socialism is all about. Listen out for those alarm bells, that klaxon. There's less incentive to work hard if more and more people are dependent on subsidies. Unbelievably, there are now well over 5 million people on out-of-work benefits. So let's just think about that. That's about 12% of the working age population. 5.3 million. So we're told there's good news in that we've got full employment, that there are more job vacancies than there are people unemployed. But hang on, something's not right. Something doesn't compute. We've got well over 5 million people of working age on out-of-work benefits. Some 12% of the working age population. It's over 1.5 million more people than at the time of the referendum. And throughout this period, there's been this thing called a conservative government. I mean, something just is not right here. Over 5 million people, economically inactive, reliant on state subsidies, state handouts, and you build up this culture of dependency. We're the second worst performing economy across the whole of Europe since the pandemic. So we need to shout from the rooftops. This is truly a socialism alert, because basic free market conservative economics says this: you stimulate growth by cutting taxes, not by raising them. You reduce inflation by cutting taxes on consumer goods. You improve productivity by cutting wasteful, unnecessary government spending. And you encourage work. It's a good thing. It makes us healthier. You encourage work by cutting taxes to increase the incentive to work. It's absolutely essential at a time when supposedly we've got full employment to get more of the economically inactive people back to work. So cut taxes for those in work, and then the differential will be greater. That's the way to create growth. That's the way to improve productivity. I fear that this Conservative Chancellor, Rishi Corbyn, and the Treasury, they are taking the nation towards socialist disaster. If there's no rapid change over the coming months, the danger is we as a nation become so far gone, too far gone, that you actually can't get it back. It's a bit like water going towards a waterfall. If you want to stop it, you've got to quickly build a dam. But once the water's gone over the waterfall, you can't get it back. It's gone. It's finished. It's over. So we as a great nation, with such a great opportunity post-Brexit, is being wasted by the very leader and leadership team that promoted Brexit. It's truly, truly unbelievable. We're heading towards a socialist disaster. And I repeat again, what we should be doing is stimulating growth by cutting taxes across the board. We should be reducing inflation by cutting taxes on consumer goods, because then the basket of goods will be at lower prices. That reduces inflation. We should cut wasteful government spending. That'll improve productivity. And I want your help understanding over 5.3 million people of working age on out-of-work benefits. Something is seriously, something is badly, badly wrong. And if we are not careful, if we don't wake up to the klaxons, the bells pealing all over the country, that there is socialism around the corner, then we face careering towards disaster. And with that, here endeth my Sunday sermon.